ESGTV. Yeah. Yeah, okay, here we go again. Every time you look up, I be going in. I keep dropping shit like I took boxes of Imodium. They keep dropping salt, think I might have to wipe my sodium. Man, I don't go nowhere without my mop like a custodian. I don't want that bitch if all her body parts ain't OEM. I spit the naked truth, I should've dropped this shit on OnlyFans. I gotta be honest, stepping here wouldn't be your smartest move. You thinking shit sweet is really big Korean barbecue. You don't think we stepping until you the one we sock it to. That's music to my ears, I got that too, don't end up chopped and screwed. Trip is armed and dangerous, you playing with him, you playing with fire. Blade on me for close quarters, I cut a nigga like a samurai. Spraying shit like graffiti, mind your business before it get vandalized. I ain't never taking pictures with my shooters, nigga, we camera shy. Man, way they killed my uncle, I might never tuck the heat. Shout it, lick me like a lollipop, but I stay sucker free. I'm so loyal to myself, I fuck with those who fuck with me. I'm not reconciling shit, you made your bed, you gotta sleep. Good night, little nigga. If that little bitch ain't got no goals, she ain't my type, little nigga. Respect the G-code, baby, I got a life subscription. One life to live, I don't regret none of my life decisions. Now I'ma keep getting money, I don't give no shit how you feel. Christmas right round the corner, I got some lists to fulfill. They say money ain't everything, I'm like, yeah, that's true. Now stop paying your bills, let's see if God comes to your rescue. Wait for it, let's see if they turn your lights back on just cause you prayed for it. Ain't nobody gonna give you shit in this world, you gon' have to pay for it. But hey, what do I know? I know some niggas covered in white like they got Villa-Lago. Money's still the motto, raising hell for the loot. Christopher season 3, coming 12/22, long live Piff.
Gentle beats.
How you think you Aboriginal when you look just like an African? Call them out for a debate. Pick the video and then I laugh at them. Many niggas ain't even know shit. I kept trying to get this nigga to share my screen, he wouldn't even show this shit. That nigga keep trying to play the straw man like I ain't noticed. But he out here blind as hell, he talking about his eyes open. He think he really doing something, whole time I ain't even going. I told him come on and share that screen, the apple you pump fake. Call him Chinky, he don't even pop out, cheap holiday ends. Act like he started something, but he can't even defend. Got the apples looking at you like shit, what you on? How you gon' let Cosmo and Lucky take the decoy phones? He say fuck the apple doctrine, man, he stand up. He say fuck that looker shit, my nigga, he said that. Hey, you better quit lying, no granny nigga shit, tell you that shit. How you got open smoke panel when you known for ducking phase? How you think you Aboriginal when you look just like an African? Call them out for a debate. Pick the video and then I laugh at them. Many niggas ain't even know shit. I kept trying to get this nigga to share my screen, he wouldn't even show this shit. That nigga keep trying to play the straw man like I ain't noticed. But he out here blind as hell, he talking about his eyes open. He think he really doing something, whole time I ain't even going. I told him come on and share that screen, the apple you pump fake. I told him come on and share that screen, the apple you pump fake. How you got open smoke panel when you known for ducking phase?
Come on, man. Give it up for Lucky Guzman. Lucky Guzman. Talking to them elbows out here, man. You know what I'm talking about? You won't let them share screen. Out here ducking phase. Yeah. What the business is. My cousin Corey just got one of his recruits from high school to come to Colorado, by the way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Little Wimp C right for his birthday tomorrow. Kid he recruited out of high school at Vanderbilt when he was there. Come on, man. Anyway, man, like the show, share the show. Like the show, share the show, man. Like the show, share the show. I want to get into this important bill. It's significant. And I want to walk people through how to deal with scientific information. Because I see a lot of this in the community, man. And I'm just trying to put a stop to a lot of this foolishness. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this foolishness. By the way, I dropped my phone in the yard. Dog gave my phone now. I'm kind of back, you know what I mean? I'm kind of back, you know what I'm saying? I don't do Apple. I don't do Apple. I don't do Apple, you know what I'm saying? I'm back. You feel me? Where everybody at? What up, Vasa? What's good, bro? Let me share the show. I just kind of hopped on coincidentally, you know. I wasn't expecting a lot of people to show up. But this one of those bills, man, that you can learn something from. And I know some people gonna come in after the fact. By that time, you know, you can kind of moved on, and they trying to catch up and get lost. Yo, I'm laughing. That boy said that one-star recruit. They're charging $2 million for this sickle cell drug, Sean. Yeah. We're gonna talk about some stuff. We're gonna talk about some stuff. So I guess I think I know where everybody at. Let me see. Keep this.
Been since the 12th dynasty.
That's the Hikakasu period, ain't it?
And they've been using it ever since.
In Libya, we know
That. Here we go. Finish the point, Sam. Let me finish the point.
Let me finish the point I want to make here. It's important. Watch this.
None of this stuff is personal to me. These two civilizations, Upper and Lower Kemet, unified. There was established cultures in the north. Farming, which it shows thing, right?
Real quick, But yeah, I figured that everybody was over there, man, and that's cool. I mean, they love Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So
you're saying that they used a bit of this?
nah, I figured that they would be over there. So I ain't finna sit here and argue with them. First of all, here's the first mistake. The first mistake is this. And why the hell is Reggie and Asar M. Carr arguing with somebody who don't study Egypt? First mistake. Second mistake, they do better arguing with Unc, because at least Unc studies the historical narrative of ancient Egypt, and there's things in there that he actually goes in to do. Cedric don't study that shit. Cedric, yes, man. Nothing against him. I'm not being disrespectful or anything like that, but I'm just telling the truth. He's a yes, man. Secondly, the mistake for Reggie and Asar M. Ka is they stuck on a belief. They have a belief. They're entitled to their belief, but they allow their confirmation bias to overrun their thought process and being able to come to the honest truth, and it really puts a damage into their research methodology. So that's the problem with this conversation. It's diluted. You got people who don't really study ancient Egyptian culture that deny the existence of African, and I'm talking about people that look like me and you, to their existence in a particular terrain, and be a part of that. When we all know that Egypt is birthed from Ethiopia, and which is, if you people forget, there's no Egypt without Ethiopia and the lore. And when I say the lore, I'm talking about the Nubians. So there's no Kemet. We know who births Egypt. So the presence of sub-Saharan Africans throughout its existence is there. There's a presence. Okay, so two things can be true at the same time. Two things can be true. This is not a homogeneous culture. It's not a one. It's not. This is heterogeneous. This is an admixture of the Ethiopian way of life, what the people in the South had something to say, some other people that that came into the other areas. You got that, so you have this presence there in ancient Egypt, and those people were able to build and create a culture that existed and was whole for thousands of years. No other civilization has done that. No other civilization has reached the heights scientifically and technologically that Egypt has done. Everybody else is building on the foundation in some way, shape, form, or fashion of what the Remich did. But my problem with the conversation is you don't have this conversation with people who don't study ancient Kemet. You let people who study that shit argue that shit. What up, Willie? What's good with you? But no, I know that they're banging on Smash and Asar M. Ka and Brother Reggie. I have no quarrels or problems with that. I highly recommend that you try to beat the bias out of them. You have to have that fight, because there's two problems. There's confirmation bias on both sides of the argument. There's a confirmation bias on behalf of a lot of the pseudo killers that are trying to have these arguments that don't really study ancient Egypt. And then there's the confirmation bias of the old teachings from Brother Reggie, Asar M. Carr, and Brother Smash, who align themselves. Notice, the people who've already argued against this are quiet and they study the language. Now, do they side with the pseudo killers in this particular argument? Probably so. Do they agree with some things that Asar, Reggie, and Smash could be saying? A little bit. That's why I said two things could be true. The problem is, and I'm going to tell y'all again, confirmation bias. Reggie wants to protect the elders and the old teachings. Unc is like, that scientifically, that doesn't make any sense. The evidence doesn't point in that direction. The evidence says this. So I steer, if you want my opinion on this topic, I ain't got nothing to say about it. I'm staying right down the middle. I don't agree with everything the pseudo killers say. I don't agree with everything that Smash and Reggie say. And I've made my disagreements with Reggie already known. I put pen to paper and published my differences with Reggie's Black Bull bullshit. But remember, two things could be true. So I think both sides have a bias, and it's hard to remove your bias when you take a position and you're in an intellectual, you have an intellectual discord, and you're in war mode. So it's, you know what I mean? You got to reel yourself back in and kind of deal with it from that perspective. But hey, Egypt get a lot of views, man. Arguing in Egypt and in the Bible, they get views, bro. They get views. But that's my take on it, man. And I don't want to, you know, if y'all interested in that subject matter, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can go over there and listen to the brothers hash out their differences regarding this topic, because they've been going at it for a few months now. So much so that it motivated Smash to write a book or publish his work. You know, and that's how I feel. Like when you're in that mode and you feel like you got to defend and protect something, you got to put some of this argument to the side, man, and just deal with the evidence and let the evidence speak. But I want to talk about something severe to us as a people, and you know, Black people, and I'm talking about Black people in America. And when I share my screen, all the information is going to be in the description of the video. But when I share my screen, it is imperative that if you're interested in knowing more about this, that you kind of deal with it from that perspective. Now, before I do that, I do have to add something into the description of the video. And one of the reasons I have to do that is because I don't want to get the channel flag, for one. For two, I don't want to and it's not flagged because of whatever. It's just the fact that the algorithm, YouTube's algorithm and community standards have been trash. So I need to put something in there to kind of deal with it, because I don't want any hits or anything like that. Now I want to, you know, I want to uphold the scholarship standard. But earlier, man, I was playing Lucky Guzman's video, and I see you, Lucky. Lucky went in. Excuse me. He went in. You know, all the elbows right now, they think they rap artists. You feel what I'm saying? And they all doing these little dumbass songs. And so it was good to, you know, let, you know, Lucky kind of fight back in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Talk bad to the elbows, because they have been running amok. But This also impacts the elbows. What I'm about to talk about, this is very impactful to the elbows as they try to and wiggle their way up out of this shit. They can't do that. Yeah, they can't do that at all. Let me get my I'm still looking for this disclosure that I put on one of the videos. Yeah, there you go, right there. That's what I need right there. Bam. Let me edit this thing, man. But I don't know who's gonna be rocking with this video or not. I do know when them dudes be live, it be like, you know, people be interested in circular arguments. And more power to y'all, man. I can't tell y'all how to entertain y'allself. I just know what I'm talking about today is a little bit more serious than arguing about Egypt. That's all I'm saying. It's a little bit more serious than arguing about Egypt. It's actually dealing with our reality. Most of us who are African Americans have had someone in our family die from this disease. I know I have. I know I have. And on the other end of this rainbow, some stuff has came out. A solution. And we're going to take a look at that solution. I don't know why this thing got COVID-19 shit on there. Ain't shit about this got anything to do with COVID-19. See what I'm saying? The algorithm, man. You put disease up there, yo, they automatically they on some stupid shit without even knowing. So let me drop this thing on here, save, and then we're gonna get into the bill. I'm teaching today. That's what this is. It's a little teaching right here today. YouTube disclaimer is added. I meant to add it earlier, but oops, I forgot. So, like I said, man, we talking about sickle cell. What's up, Chris? This is something that plagues Black people. This is an issue that we have. This is how we also know that we ain't elbows. That we're not Native Americans, and we know how some of them get it, right? Because they get it because of some admixing. So this statement right here is from the World Health Organization, and let's get into it, man. Let me kick my science shit. So sickle cell disease, SCD, or sickle cell anemia, is a major genetic disease that affects most countries in the African region. I'm gonna say that one more time. It affects most countries in the African region. In sickle cell disease, the normal round shape of red blood cells become the crescent moons. Round red blood cells can move easily through the blood vessel, but sickled shape cells interconnect and can result in blood clots. These blood clots can cause extreme pain in the back, chest, hands, and feet. Think about Deion Sanders for a second, even though that is not his situation. But think about him having to lose some toes, and he's had tremendous amounts of blood clots. Blood clots are hereditary in his family per se, yada, yada, yada. Think about that. That pain. When I'm talking about the pain, think Deion Sanders. This Negro in the chat said the sickle cell started in Mayan territory. What's up, Sister Mo? So look, what I really want to do right now, absolutely. Can you come on the stream and show me where this shit comes from, the Mayan territory, bro? Can you come on the show and share with me where The fucking Mayan, the sickle cell anemia comes from the Mayans, bro. Please, brother. We interested. We interested. If I drop the link, are you willing to come and educate us, brother? Please. Okay, all right. I know what to do. I'll deal with that when I get done. So sorry that I let this absolutely dude come in the chat and say whatever, but that's one of their troll accounts. Fucking sickle cell don't come from no Mayan shit. If you listening long enough, you're gonna hear me actually debunk you. These clots can cause extreme pain. Now, the disrupted blood flow can also cause damage to bones, muscles, and organs. People with sickle cell disease often feel weak, tired, and look pale. The whites of their eyes and skin often have a yellowish tint. Environmental factors often play a role in the occurrence of painful attacks. Common triggers include cold temperatures, dehydration, excessive amounts of exercise, and tobacco smoke. Other triggers, such as plane flights and high altitudes, can also trigger an attack. In the region, the majority of children with the most severe form of the disease die before the age of 5, usually from an infection of severe blood loss. In countries such as Cameroon, Republic of Congo, Gabon, Ghana, and Nigeria, the prevalence is between 20 to 30%, while in some parts of Uganda, it is as high as 45%. So I just gave you some statistical data there. And I just wanted to kind of show this source again because I want to just kind of spread my wings because someone wanted to actually challenge it in the chat and say that sickle cell started in the Mayan territory. Bullshit. So sickle cell anemia is a common genetic condition due to the hemoglobin disorder. We all know that, okay? Inheritance of mutant hemoglobin genes from both parents. All right. There's something I want to highlight here. About 5% of the world's population carries genes responsible for this. Each year, about 300,000 infants are born with major hemoglobin disorders, including more than 200,000 cases of sickle cell anemia in Africa. Let me make it bigger. Globally, there are more carriers, healthy people who have inherited only one mutate gene from one parent of thalassemia than of sickle cell anemia, but the high frequency of the sickle cell gene in certain areas leads to a high rate of affected newborns. Watch this. Sickle cell anemia is particularly common among people whose ancestors come from where? Sub-Saharan Africa, India, Saudi Arabia, and the Mediterranean countries. Migration raised the frequency of the gene in the American continent. So it wasn't here before because what happened? Migration raised the frequency of the gene in the American continent. What do you mean? In some areas of sub-Saharan Africa, up to 2% of all children are born with the condition. In broad terms, the prevalence of sickle cell trait ranges between 10 to 40% across the equatorial Africa and decreases between 1 to 2% of the North African coast and 1% in South Africa. This distribution reflects the fact that sickle cell trait confers a survival advantage against malaria, and that selection's pressure due to malaria has resulted in high frequencies of the mutate gene, especially in areas of high malarial transmission. Pause. So this is due to what? Malaria. Malaria is a problem. How big of a problem is it? That it led to this. If it ain't one thing, it's another. But it says in West African countries such as Ghana and Nigeria, the frequency of the trait is 15 to 30%, whereas in Uganda, it shows marked tribal variations reaching 45% among the Bamba tribe and west of the country. This is still who? Who giving us the science? Frequencies of the carrier state determine the prevalence of sickle cell anemia at birth. For example, in Nigeria, by far the most populous country in the sub-region, 24% of the population are carriers of the mutate gene, and prevalence of sickle cell anemia in about 20 to 1,000 births, 20 per 1,000 births. This means that in Nigeria alone, about 150,000 children are born annually with sickle cell anemia. What's up, Nada C? About to beat this abo up real quick with this science. So, the sickle cell gene has become common in Africa. Common in Africa. Because the sickle cell trait confers some resistance of falciparum malaria during a critical period of early childhood, favoring survival of the host and subsequent transmission of abnormal hemoglobin gene. Although a single abnormal gene may protect against malaria inheritance, of two abnormal genes leads to sickle cell anemia and confers no such protection. And malaria is a major cause of ill health and death in children with sickle cell anemia. There is increasing evidence that malaria not only influences outcome, but also changes the manifestations of sickle cell anemia in Africa. Why do I keep saying Africa, 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 Africa? Let's go to 6. Let's skip 5. Let's go to 6, because we're going back to West Africa and the African continent if we're dealing with 5. So in the United States of America, median survival was estimated in 1994 to be 42 years for men, 48 for women, whereas comparable figures in Jamaica published 2001 suggested 53 years old and 58 for women. So in Jamaica, the greatest mortality occurs between 6 and 12 months old, when 10% of patients die despite considerable experience in the diagnosis and therapy of the conditions of absence of malaria. There are, however, no firm data on the survival of patients with sickle cell anemia on the African continent. In sub-Saharan Africa, mortality would be much more higher than in Jamaica. And in some areas, estimates derived with the age structure of populations attending clinics suggest that half of these with sickle cell anemia have died by the age of 5 years, usually from infections including malaria, pneumococcal sepsis, and from anemia itself. So shout out to the World Health Organization for providing us with this document. Let's move forward. Let's double down on some key facts real quick, and then I'm gonna get into the bill, because I really want to deal with my bad, Dr. Mo. My bad, Dr. Mo is in the building. So just a quick recap. 5% of the world's population carries traits of the hemoglobin disorder, mainly sickle cell disease and I just said it, thalassemia. Hemoglobin disorders are genetic blood diseases due to the inheritance of mutated hemoglobin genes from both generally healthy parents. Over 300,000 babies with severe hemoglobin disorders are born each year. The health burden of hemoglobin disorders can effectively reduce through management and prevention of programs. Now, these are facts presented by who? We already ran through some, but I'm going to double back. So I wanted to deal with something real quick, because the dude in the chat said something, and I just want to go on and get him on up out of here. Absolute Lee said early in the bill, I'm gonna put his thing on the screen. I'm gonna put his comment on the screen. Absolute Lee says sickle cell started in Mayan territory. The audacity of the stupidity of wanting to be an Aboriginal so bad that he said such. So, sickle cell disease is more common in certain ethnic groups, including people of African descent, including African Americans, among whom, look at this, 1 in 12 carries the sickle cell gene. So for every 1 in 12 African American, somebody possessing the sickle cell gene. If you got 12 people living in your household, one of them got the sickle cell gene. Carrying that bitch. Hispanic Americans and Central and South Americans, people of Middle Eastern, Asia, Indian, and Mediterranean descent. Okay? Those are the people who are at the biggest risk. But we know that African Americans, right, and Africans in the diaspora, right, especially continental Africans, right, are the most troubled by the sickle cell disease. It don't get to these other places without the African. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to demonstrate that to you here shortly. Because sickle cell disease symptoms can begin by 4 months of age, early diagnosis is critical. All newborns in the United States are now tested for the disease. All newborns are now tested for it. Sickle cell disease can be identified before birth by testing a sample of amniotic fluid or tissue from the placenta. People who carry the sickle cell gene can seek genetic counseling before pregnancy to discuss options. Ladies and gentlemen, this is significant because now they have the technology to what? Identify it at birth. What you think's gonna happen? What y'all think gonna happen? If we have the ability to be able to solve a problem before it becomes a problem, don't you think that you want to solve the problem? I mean, somebody let me know. Where you at on this? Where y'all at on it? I'm looking in the chat. T-Bars. Yep. T-Bars got, yeah, she do. She do. That boy Nada C said he probably got that from 111 Truth. Yeah, 111 Truth is horrible, brother. He's horrible, brother. I sit there and listen to him live on Port City Show yesterday. Horrible, bro. Horrible. So, I'm going to do old boy a favor. I'm going to go on and get him on out there real quick. Research shows, it's on the screen. Research shows, I'm waiting for the update so y'all can see it. There you go. Research shows that the mutation causing sickle cell disease arose in Africa thousands of years ago to help protect against malaria, a historically major cause of the death. Let me stop real quick. Where you at? Absolutely. You said it happened in Mayan territory. But we got evidence here saying that the shit rose in Africa thousands of years ago to protect against malaria. This is how we get the sickle cell trait. No one else in the world, no one else on this planet gets this shit until we get this shit, bro. And the only reason we carry that weight like that, hold on, my computer sending me shit. I gotta handle some application shit. But anyway, hold on. He says, what research shows that sentence statement that, what you mean? We got the whole history, brother. Of what? What research? We got it all right here. Research. Blood transfusion first used to treat sickle cell. We got all of that right here, brother. I'm showing everything on the screen. You ain't got to what research. Negro, you don't know how to do research. Don't say what research. Just sit back and chill. I got this. Let me fuck this bitch. You just hold a head and learn something. You came in the chat talking about some Mayan shit. What research says the Mayans? What research says that the Mayan territory is where it was at? Show and prove, demonstrate that. Because I can show and prove and demonstrate it coming from Africa. Because we have the evidence of it being around thousands of years ago. Oh, you don't believe me? I ain't been doing nothing but defining the sickle cell the whole entire time. We went with the WHO organization and we came through with other stuff. I'm slowly walking you into a death trap. Are you sure you want to journey down this lane? Huh? Are you sure you want to journey down this lane with me? Because you said, what research? So I'm just going to put it on the screen for you. Because I really didn't think that I would have to do this with people. I didn't think that I would have to. So I'm going to do it here, sir. Here, sir. It was first identified in 1910, sir. Let me zoom in just so you can see it. Chicago physician James B. Herrick first publishes a description of sickled cells in a blood sample from a 20-year-old dental student, Walter Clement Noel from Grenada, termed sickle cell anemia, coined based on paper. Just a little fact. You know what I'm saying? Just a little fact. Scientists then test 2,500 African Americans in Memphis, determine sickle cell trait and sickle cell disease are separate entities. The next year, painful sickle cell crisis suggested to result from blockages of small blood samples. What we talking about, bro? What research? Negro, since the 1910s, they've been going in on things and getting better and better every year. Yeah, they got black people involved in this research. You just seen one on the screen, 1972. Dr. Roland Scott, look him up. Oh, you want me to do it for you? I'll do it for you. Let me do it for you. Because I ain't like y'all. I don't say go look it up for yourself. I don't do that shit. I can show and prove. Roland Scott was an American researcher, pediatrician, and authority on sickle cell disease. Scott authored a key paper in 1948 describing the incidence of sickle cell in infants that eventually led to the establishment of routine screening for newborns. Shout out to Dr. Scott. He established He established the Howard University Center for Sickle Cell Disease. He was the chairman of the pediatrics department at Howard University. He lobbied Congress to pass the Sickle Cell Anemia Control Act of 1971. He authored over 250 academic publications on allergy, growth and development, and sickle cell disease. Need I say more? This fool said, bro, listen to me, bro. Listen to me, bro. Listen to me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back one quick time, bro. I'm going to go back one quick time. Research shows that the mutation causing sickle cell disease arose in Africa thousands of years ago to help protect against malaria. There's no goddamn malaria in the United States, especially not in Memphis, Tennessee. What up, Keenan? What are you talking about? They said in Memphis, no, Negro. The mutation causing sickle cell disease arose in Africa thousands of years ago to protect against malaria. It don't say Memphis. It said these doctors doing their research in 1910, by 1933, they tested some people in Memphis, Tennessee. They tested some African Americans. This is what American scientists did. They start to see something. What the fuck was it that they were seeing? How do you think that they knew what the sickle cell disease was, bro? How it formed? Research. The prevalence of malaria. Who the hell dealing with malaria? Who dealing with malaria and alarming rates? That shit ain't even in the Americas, nigga. It was brought here. You talking about the Mayan territory? Where's the evidence? We don't have a single source that says that malaria comes from the Mayans. Not one. Not a single one. What up, Teddy? Zane? What they do in the show over there? This fool said, listen to yourself, debunking yourself. This bro, all right. Look at the screen. Research shows that mutations causing sickle cell disease arose in Africa thousands of years ago to protect against malaria. The people in the United States tested some people in the 1930s, some African Americans from Memphis. First discovery made in Western medicine. This is when Western medicine made a discovery. A Granada person. Okay, wow, right? Like, what are we? Hold on. Why am I going this hard, bro? Why am I going this hard? Why? Why do I gotta do that? All the evidence, all points us to Africa because they were fighting a goddamn malaria. We ain't gotta sit here and make nothing up, man. This fool said I was debunking myself when I clearly am showing you the origins. People of African descent, including African Americans, among whom 1 in 12 carries the sickle cell gene. It's 18 people in the chat right now. One of you motherfuckers has got sickle cell, according to the statistical data. This fool said antibodies against malaria have been detected in some South African mummies, indicating that some malarian strands in the Americas might have pre-Columbian origin. Bull fucking shit. They didn't test Americans, man. The goddamn people are not Americans, bro. They're not Americans. They told you who the fuck they were. Read, you dyslexic. Are you dyslexic? Hold on. I ain't gonna say you dyslexic. Read. Can you see this? Can you see this? Research shows that mutations causing sickle cell disease arose in Africa thousands of years ago to help protect against malaria. Over time, as sickle cell disease emerged, it became known by various names in different tribal languages in Africa. long before it was discovered in Western medicine. This Negro talking 20 years, bro. Research shows that the mutation causing sickle cell disease arose in Africa thousands of years ago to help protect against malaria, a historically major cause of death there. It's a historically major cause of death in Africa. Over time, as sickle cell disease emerged, it became known by various names in different tribal languages in Africa. Long before, I'm driving this point home. Long and before it was discovered in Western medicine. So before 1910, it was already known to Africans. It wasn't known to Western medicine until 1910. It was already known to Africans well before 1910. Do you know why it was known before Western medicine before 1910? Because they had some shit called the white man's grave. And if you're familiar with anything that's going on historically, when the white people came into Africa, when they came to specific parts of West Africa, they couldn't go no further. The reason why, because they had some shit that was called the white man's grave. You know what the white man's grave was? Malaria, motherfucker. Smallpox too, but malaria. So do y'all remember when I did this whole build on quinine or QAnon? Y'all remember that? Do you remember when I did the show on quinine, or however it's pronounced? When I told you that when the damn Europeans came into the Americas, the Jesuits was paying attention to the Amerindians, the indigenous natives of this fucking country. Excuse me for cussing so much, younger crowd. But the indigenous native people of the Americas, they specifically were seeing how they were treating certain things, the shivers, shakes, all this other stuff. They were using a plant called quinine. They took that plant back to Europe and they got to fiddling with it. Come to find out that it wasn't everything that they actually needed, but it was working against some things. That's what they used to go into the center of Africa with so much confidence. Before the use of quinine, they wasn't going into the center of Africa. They stayed out. They did not, because everybody who caught malaria that was of European descent croaked over. Malaria was wiping them out. Wasn't smallpox. It was malaria that was wiping them out. That's what they call the white man's grave. That is the significance of our existence here in the Americas and how this followed and got here. Bro, I'm finna show y'all again. Wasn't no yellow fever. No. Some of that too. I'm not taking none of that away. When I told y'all about quinine, that was what was going down. I'm telling y'all, bro, you got to know what you know. It was a treatment for malaria. I'm finna put it on the screen. I thought I was past this. I did this show a long time ago. It's up on the channel. So I'm gonna go to this one more time and I'm gonna hit this real closely for y'all. Quinine is a medication used to treat malaria. Ladies and gentlemen, it's used to treat malaria. How did we know that? How did we know that? Huh? How did we know that? Because I just told y'all the history behind the shit. So let me zoom in again. Quinine was used as a muscle relaxant by the Quechua people who are indigenous to Peru, Bolivia, and Ecuador to halt shivering. I just told y'all about the god dang it shivering and all of that because I did a whole build on it. Who was the people who saw it? The Spanish Jesuit missionaries. I don't play no games. They took the plant back to it. I did the whole build. Bring it together. Bring it together. When we deal with the science and the evidence, we know what's what, who, what, when, what, how, bro? How, bro? How, bro? Huh? How, bro? Come on, man. This dude keeps saying something. No, listen, absolutely. You're now entering in the realm of stupidity. We already knew you were dumb, but now you're entering the realm of stupidity because this, right, never was known to be a treatment for malaria until the Jesuits takes it back. And then later on in like the 17th of 18th century, they begin to enter the heart of Africa. Watch this. Quinine played a significant role in the colonization of what? Africa by Europeans. The availability of quinine for treatment had been said to be the prime reason Africa ceased to be known as a white man's grave. Do you not understand that I do my research, my due diligence? I don't need Wiki. I don't need no other sources. I've already done the work. I understand how they colonized Africa. They could not colonize Africa until they had a reason to get past the white man's grave. They were too scared. They would use the Africans, send them out, and when they came back, they would do business that way. That's why they stayed far away. They poked their chest out in the 1800s. That's when they began really to colonize Africa. You have to put this into perspective. To maintain their monopoly on the Sechana bark, Peru's surrounding countries began outlawing the export of it. That was in the 19th century. Like I told, listen, bro, you gotta study, bro. You won't find not one source that'll tell me that fucking malaria came from some fucking Mayans. I would know. Never. Because they ain't even got a, listen, this is what's funny. The Mayans ain't even got a word for malaria in their language. I'm going to say that one more time. The Mayans ain't got a word for malaria in their language. So they had no common knowledge of what malaria was. They don't even have it in their language. Oh, through my research, I've also uncovered that. And I provided this in the bill. I don't understand how we're so lost here. We should not be fooled by a fool in the chat. Thou shalt not be fooled by a fool in the chat. This nigga knew nothing about quinine until I said so. Now he's going to tell me when they isolated it. No, Negro. They isolated it. They had their business already, bro. What are you talking about? When they began to do all of that other extractions and doing what they needed to do from the bark, that was later on. Prior to that, how do you think that they was using this? What are you talking about? It says it right here. Read. Don't just learn some shit that I'm putting you up on in the chat and then try to copy and paste and says, well, it says they did this. You knew nothing about quinine. Nothing, absolutely, which I know is like Aboriginal Power or Autochthonous Pseudo 1. It's one of you two. That's your troll page. Spanish Jesuit missionaries were the first to bring the Sechana to Europe. The Spanish had observed the Quichua's use of this cinchona and were aware of the medicinal properties of cinchona bark by 1570s. Nigga, what are you talking about in the 1800s? I told you the Jesuits knew first. Nicholas Menardez, 1571, and Juan Fregosa, 1572, both described a tree which was subsequently identified as the cinchona tree, whose bark was used to produce a drink to treat diarrhea. They used the bark to create a juice to drink to treat diarrhea. They knew nothing about malaria. Nothing. Quinine has been used in unextracted form by Europeans since at least the early 17th century. Go do the year dates for the 17th century. A popular story of how it was brought to Europe by the Countess of Chinchon was debunked by medical historian Alec Haggis. Around 1941, during the 17th century, malaria was endemic to the swamps and the marshes surrounding the city of Rome. It had caused deaths of several popes, many cardinals, countless common Roman citizens. Most of the Catholic priests trained in Rome had seen malaria patients and were familiar with the shiverings brought on by the febrile phase of the disease. The Jesuit Agostino Salembruno, 1564 to 1642, an apothecary by training who lived in Lima, observed the Quichua using the bark of the cinchona tree to treat such shivering. They never knew what it was. While its effect in treating malaria was unrelated to its effect in controlling shivers from rigors, it was a successful medicine against malaria. At first opportunity, Salambrino sent a small quantity to Rome for testing malaria treatment. Years that followed, Chiana bark, known as Jesuits bark or the Peruvian bark, became one of the most valuable commodities shipped from Peru to Europe. Come on, you bro, you don't read. So now I'm not going to waste no more of my time. I'm going to get back to it. Now, I've shown you that malaria origins is in Africa. So why are these other people getting it? Because they are seeing Africans. Malaria is spreading because people are coming into Africa, kidnapping these fucking Africans who have been fighting malaria for quite some time, right? That they begin to deal with another problem called the sickle cell disease. Don't get them confused. One triggered the other. I don't understand this other dude in the chat with no information. I'm putting him on something that none of them in their community has ever talked about, ever. And I did that a long time ago. So I'm going to continue. The origins of the sickle cell disease originated in Africa. It originated to fight against malaria. So, back on schedule. What do we do to fix this? Huh? What do we do to fix the sickle cell disease gene? Researchers treated sickle cell disease in mice by directly editing the defective hemoglobin gene that causes the disease. The findings can lead to a one-time treatment of sickle cell disease with fewer side effects than other treatments in development. That's at a glance. This article talks about that. It was an article that was published in the Journal of Nature in 2021 that spoke in regards to that. It says a team of researchers led by David Liu at the Broad Institute of Doctors Mitchell Weiss and Jonathan Yin at St. Jude's developed a method that avoids some of the risk of other gene editing approaches. It uses a molecular technique called base editing, which changes a single letter of the genome without cutting any DNA. Several NIH institutes supported the research, which appeared. This is the significance of DNA. Another thing that abos reject DNA. And yes, you heard me mention gene editing. So I want to kind of deal with that. Just to give you a basic understanding of this, and I'm going to show you how the Encyclopedia Britannica works. They updated this gene editing article recently. As of December 8, 2023, you see the updated here, and it's already been fact checked, and it's already been written and reviewed. And we're going to get into that. Gene editing is the ability to make highly specific changes in the DNA sequence of a living organism, essentially customizing its genetic makeup. Gene editing is performed using enzymes, particularly nucleases, that have been engineered to target a specific DNA sequence, where they introduce cuts into the DNA strands, enabling the removal of existing DNA and the insertion of replacement DNA. Key among gene editing technologies is a molecular tool known as CRISP or Cas9, a powerful technology discovered in 2012 by American scientist Jennifer Doudna, a French scientist, Emmanuela Charpentier, and colleagues, and refined by American scientist Fin Zhang and colleagues. CRISP or Cas9 function with precision, allowing researchers to remove and insert DNA in the desired locations. So giving you a basic understanding. Moving forward, back to WHO, right? Because WHO gives us an understanding of what gene editing is. It says gene editing is a method for making specific changes to the DNA of a cell or organism. It can be used to add, remove, or alter DNA in the genome. Human genome editing technologies can be used as somatic cells, non-heritable, or germline cells, not for reproduction, and germline cells for reproduction. Application of somatic human genome editing has already been undertaken, including in vivo editing to address HIV and sickle cell, for example. Pause. Because we're talking about sickle cell today. So we've known for quite some time, since Cas9 has been related and inserted into the scientific community, that they were looking at DNA specifically to resolve issues in early detection and manipulating editing issues regarding these diseases. So they will specifically look at your DNA, figure out where in your DNA are these diseases prevalent. Focus on that area of your DNA where these diseases are prevalent, and try to manipulate it by editing that place. Scientifically speaking, when I say edit, I'm literally talking about really honing in on your DNA and working in that area to deal with it specifically. It's been taking a while. So what is this whole brush? Now we've heard some things about CRISP9, gene edit, Cas9, CRISP. We heard all about it. We went through the pandemic talking about the pseudoscientific shit. So I want to deal with some small facts, not a lot, but some small facts regarding CRISP. So we got facts, myths, and how to engage with the public. And this is important because that's a problem. So I'm gonna get directly with some of these tips, and I don't know why it's moving so fast on y'all, but anyway. Often the public only hears about science news through movies and television shows, local and national news, or articles in magazines, rather than directly from scientists. Sometimes these outlets sensationalize science-related topics in order to increase their web traffic and generate views. While plenty of accurate information is available on the internet, there's also just as much or even more incorrect information about their hold on, what was that? Out there in the web. So some websites put in just enough factual information to seem legitimate, but have dubious or otherwise incorrect claims littered throughout. Without being able to converse with scientists directly, the public has no way of confirming or denying reports on the gene editing that they hear. Complicating this, when people have just a bit of information about the topic, the Dunning-Kruger effect is prominently in play. That is, when people know or think they know a bit about a topic, being informed without being experts, they tend to overestimate their level of knowledge. When talking with people about CRISP, be aware that they might think their opinion is equally valid to yours because they perceive themselves as having almost as much knowledge as you. The best thing to do is listen to them before providing accurate information. While you might disagree or even know they are wrong due to current scientific consensus, the other person is much more likely to listen to you if you listen to them. Bullshit. They ain't listening. Nice try, though. When talking with others absolutely potentially controversial issues, it's important to remember there are usually fundamental values involved. For example, many people I've encountered when talking about CRISP have expressed deep concern about designer babies or eventually advocacy for eugenics. While it's easy to be dismissive of such concerns, that kind of technology capability is likely decades away. It's not an unfounded fear. In the early 1900s, the genetics as a field of study was hitting its stride. Some scientists and policymakers proposed eugenics as a way to improve the human race. The results forced sterilizations of tens of thousands of Americans with documented mental illness. You may be tempted to think philosophies won't rise again, and maybe they won't. But not talking about these concerns with the public only breeds distrust of gene editing technologies. These types of fears are exactly why scientists need to engage the public and bring them in a conversation about responsible uses of gene editing technology. Tip number 3, focus on the facts. Keep the conversation neutral. You might believe the CRISP-Cas technology is paving the way for a geneticized future, but others may not share your opinion, and that's okay. Some people might be excited about the potential of technology in other ways. For an extremely wide range of reasons, regardless of your audience, people's feelings toward technology, you can still keep friends and family informed. So we're going to focus on the facts. Part of science advocacy involves trusting the public to come to their own conclusions. Placing the faith in the public to the people and understanding the complex issues helps build trust between the public and the scientific community. Expecting unquestioned belief is surefire way to alienate your grandmother, let alone the public at large. Your goddamn grandmother. So, pause that and read it over. CRISP-Cas system is useful as a gene editing tool. Scientists can manipulate CRISP-Cas to target specific DNA sequences, such as those that cause fatal genetic diseases. That is what they're using it for, to target specific DNA sequences that cause fatal genetic diseases and cut the DNA at the specific target site. Y'all heard me say it earlier. Scientists then use the cut to their advantage to have other proteins repair the DNA, putting a healthy DNA in place of the pathogenic DNA. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard the word pathogen over and over and over during the pandemic. Well, what CRISP is trying to do is saying, okay, Sean, at this site location in your DNA, this is where the disease lies. If we can cut it here, use proteins from existing parts to repair, we have removed the disease from your DNA. You're going to be okay. That is the end goal of this technology. Sounds scary, don't it? What if they do this? What if they do that? Oh, okay. They've been testing this shit for a while now. So let's move on real quick. Because it told us to worry about the facts. What are the facts? Cas9 is a gene editing tool. It has two parts, Cas9 enzyme and a guide RNA. Y'all heard about RNA. The guide RNA is a type of RNA molecule that binds to Cas9 and tells it the location to cut the DNA to have the desired effect. So the technology, the Cas9, right? You got the tool. It's a gene editing tool. The guide is your RNA. The RNA molecule that binds to Cas9 tells it to locate the location to cut. You're bullshitting, Sean. No. How gene editing cells are made and administered. Stem cell collection. Stem cells are collected from the patients and shipped to a laboratory to undergo gene editing procedure. They isolate the cells that will be modified. Deliver CRISPR or Cas9 to isolate cells to enable them to be modified. Freeze test and send the new modified cells to the hospital. Then there's an infusion. Patients receive chemotherapy to create space in the bone marrow for the editing cells to grow. Then the infusion cells are thawed and infused into the patient. The goal, the cells grow in the bone marrow and help fight or treat the disease. The facts. The facts. So, ladies and gentlemen, the other day, as was mentioned earlier in the show, the FDA approves cure for sickle cell disease, the first treatment to use gene editing tool CRISPR. The treatment is priced at $2.2 million per person. Right now. I'm not going to play the video, but the source is there. Now, I'm not going to go through this when I can just go right here and deal with a lot of pseudos issues. So, yeah, we're going to come back to our favorite friends over at the FDA. But before we get into this, I see my boy Lucky in the chat. Everybody say what up to Lucky. Go tap in, subscribe to your boy Lucky shit. I'm talking about going down. Going down. Since I'm beating up an elbow in the chat, right? Since he was on his pseudo-ish. Since he was on his pseudo-ish, I got to do this right here for my boy Lucky Guzman. My boy Lucky Guzman, you understand me? Turn me up.
Gentle beats.
How you think you aboriginal when you look just like an African? Call them out for a debate. Pick the video and then I laugh at them. Many niggas ain't even know shit. I kept trying to get this nigga to share my screen, he wouldn't even show this shit. Then they keep trying to play the straw man like I ain't noticing. But he out here blind as hell, he talking about his eyes open. He think he really doing some whole time I ain't even going. I told him come on and show that screen, the apple you pump fake. Call him Chicky, he don't even pop out, Chief Holiday in. Act like he started something, but he can't even defend. Now the apple's looking at you like shit, what you on? How you gon' let Cosmo and Lucky take the decoy moves? He say fuck the apple doctrine, man, he stand up. He say fuck that looker shit, my nigga, he said that. Hey, you better quit lying, no granny nigga shit, tell you that shit. How you got open smoke panel when you known for ducking fades? How you think you aboriginal when you look just like an African? Call them out for a debate. Pick the video and then I laugh at them. Many niggas ain't even know shit. I kept trying to get this nigga to share my screen, he wouldn't even show this shit. Then they keep trying to play the straw man like I ain't noticing. But he out here blind as hell, he talking about his eyes open. He think he really doing some whole time I ain't even going. I told him come on and show that screen, the apple you pump fake. I told him come on and show that screen, the apple you pump fake. How you got open smoke panel when you known for ducking phase.
How you got an open panel for smoking? You ducking fades. Come on, man. Get up to Lucky. Throwing shots at the elbows. So the FDA approved 2 milestone treatments called Casgevy and Lafagenia, representing the first cell-based gene therapies for the treatment of sickle cell disease in patients 12 years and older. Additionally, one of these therapies, Casgevy, is the first approved first FDA-approved treatment to utilize a type of novel genome editing technology, signaling an innovative advancement in the field of gene therapy. Sickle cell disease is a group of inherited blood disorders affecting approximately 100,000 people in the U.S. It is most common in African Americans, and while less prevalent, also affects Hispanic Americans. The primary problem in sickle cell disease is a mutation is hemoglobin, a protein found in the red blood cells that delivers oxygen to the body's tissues. This mutation causes red blood cells to develop a crescent or sickle cell shape. These sickle cell red blood cells restrict the flow of the blood vessels and limit oxygen delivering the body's tissues, leading to severe pain and organ damage called vaso-occlusive events or vaso-occlusive crisis. The reoccurrence of these events or crises can lead to life-threatening disabilities and or early death. Sickle cell disease is rare, debilitating and life-threatening blood disorder with significant unmet need. And we are excited to advance the field, especially for individuals whose lives have been severely disrupted by the disease, approving 2 cell-based gene therapies today. Again, I have had relative die from sickle cell. My supervisor deals with sickle cells on a day-to-day. It's painful to actually watch because she tries to fight through it. You know what I'm saying? It's painful. But we know the names of the 2 treatments, and we know that it's been approved. We know that it's $2.2 million too. It's a very expensive treatment. But of course, they're always looking for ways to lower the dollar sign. If they're going to be able to treat people, the dollar sign has to be low. But of course, and I said it earlier, of course, and of course, and of course, it's more so about us, African Americans. So we know the origins. We know we know where this disease comes from. We know that our ancestors battled with malaria, and our brothers and sisters on the continent are still battling malaria, which triggered this disease to even come about. So we know the origins. We know the destination and how it spread, right? We know the causes and the effects of it. We've seen the historical perspective of it. Now we know that there's a solution for treating it. And understanding that solution is where the real value is, and not you taking my word for it. So I walked y'all from the beginning, defining sickle cell disease, to showing you how it's in these different areas, and how 1 in 12 African Americans have this issue. So I just wanted to let y'all know that. So the significance of sickle cell and how it has impacted Black people in the Americas, and how we've watched a lot of our relatives take an L to this disease. there's a treatment for it. Very expensive treatment. One day we hope that it'll be a lot less than this and very affordable, and hopefully our insurance of some sort will start being able to cover this treatment, because I don't want to see none of y'all or myself again lose another family member to battling this. In this, we also got a little history lesson and a rebuffer if we didn't understand it, excuse me, from a historical perspective. And I just wanted to lay all of the data out. There's a lot of facts in regarding this, and I'm not making nobody's mind up. I am simply giving you an opportunity to be able to fully comprehend and understand the subject matter and be able to apply it. Be able to apply it. So we know what the sickle cell disease, who it affects the most. 1 in 12 African Americans. Let me pull up the statistics on it, because I don't want nobody to think that I'm making it up. Even though I showed the 1 in 12, but you should see how it's like 1 in every 58,000 when it comes to other people. This shit's crazy. Let me pull it up. I don't think I had it on screen, but I'm gonna pull it up. Let me go back to this part. Let me zoom in real quick. It's right. Some of it is right here, but they got a chart with the shit. In the United States, sickle cell disease affects an estimated 70 to 100,000 people, the majority of whom are African Americans. In the United States, the sickle cell disease affects an estimated 70 to 100,000 people, the majority of whom are African Americans. All states screen newborns for sickle cell disease. Sickle cell disease occurs in approximately 1 out of every 500 African Americans births and 1 out of every 36,000 Hispanics. So, ladies and gentlemen, 1 out of every 36,000 Hispanics, 1 out of every 500 African Americans. Who it ain't talking about in this shit? Who it ain't talking about in this shit? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what Absolute went or what he said or continued to say, but that's a fact. People hate facts. They just want to be right. Shit, he can't even be right. Let me go back to this comment right here. This shows how stupid he is right here. The research is being done and people in the Americas on Americans, no Africans in your research studies. The first article that I opened up with, he said that there was no Africans in my research study. The very first article that I opened up with. Sickle cell disease or sickle cell anemia is a major genetic disease that affects most of the countries in the African region. Everybody remember me saying this? Anyone remember me saying this at all? In the region, the majority of the children most severe to the disease die before the age of 5, usually from an infection of several severe blood loss in countries such as Cameroon, that's Africa, Republic of Congo, that's Africa. Gabon, that's Africa. Ghana, that's Africa. Nigeria, that's Africa. Uganda, that's Africa. I started in Africa. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. I started in Africa. Before even mentioning an African American, I started in Africa. Then I came over here in the second research, read the prevalence of sickle cell anemia, and then doubled down and said sickle cell anemia is particularly common among people whose ancestors come from sub-Saharan Africa. Then India, Saudi Arabia, and Mediterranean countries. Then I said migration raised the frequency of the gene in the American continent. So there was a migration that transpired. How the fuck did we get here? We can look at diseases. In some areas of sub-Saharan Africa, 2% of all children are born with a condition. In broad terms, the prevalence of sickle cell trait ranges between 10 and 40% across equatorial Africa. I did all this Africa shit for this man to turn around and tell me there's some research in some goddamn American. Nigga, do you not know that the people that they did the research on were called African Americans? Which means that they of African descent with a big emphasis on Africa. You smoking dope. This nigga said, prove their ancestors came from sub-Saharan. Brother, we talking about sickle cell disease, bro. We know the origins of the disease come from Africa. I just proved it. Because the origin comes from Africa. Because they were fighting malaria through their bodies, fighting malaria, they developed, they became sickle cell anemic. Through the fight. God damn, bro. I'm not even trying to convince you, bro. I'm not here to try to convince you at all. I'm not. So I tell you what. I tell you what. Come put your evidence on the screen. I showed mine. Come show yours. Come show your evidence. Come on. Hit the link. Belly up. Demonstration beats conversation. Because I'm not going to talk to you in the chat no more. If you're going to comment in the chat, just comment in the chat. I'm not going to say nothing else to you. Hit the link and we can have a conversation. But the conversations with me ain't like them channels that you be on. Them conversations with me require evidence, nigga. Demonstration beats conversation. Where's your evidence? Don't talk me to death. Don't type us to death. We want to see your evidence. We want to see malaria being in the Americas before Columbus, right? We want your dates. We want your evidence. We want the bodies. Then we want to see if the sickle cell trait developed here before Columbus arrives. So we need to predate Columbus with malaria and the sickle cell trait. I showed you the origins. Show me the origins of it coming from Mayan territory. Not no some say, some think, some believe. No. I didn't have none of that up there. I had the motherfucker said the origins of it. They were not hesitant, reluctant, or none of that. They were specific. The origins of this comes from Africa. There's a sickle cell initiative dealing with Black people. So I need all that, Flip. All that. Bring your shit. Hit the link. Hit the link. If you still talking, I'm not even interested. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. I'm moving on. I ain't finna let you just keep on breaking the bill, bro. We got something going on. We moving on, bro. I knew you was scared because you ain't got no information. You want to sit there and question everything, and you don't want to be questioned. You want to question everything, but you don't want to be questioned. You made claims in the chat. We just want to see your evidence because you can't prove your claims in the chat. You can't prove them. There's no way for you to prove your claims in the chat. You have no way of being able to do that. You can copy and paste whatever you want to copy and paste, but you only get to the point of mentioning some of the shit that you mentioned in the chat because of me. You had no history, understanding, or none of that on anything. You just was running them up. Big pseudo. You big pseudo. Anybody else want to hit the link, man? Feel free to hit the link. I don't duck nothing. I don't duck no smoke. None. I knew he wasn't gonna come. I hope you ain't still chatting, bro. Listen, bro. We ain't got time, bro. I told you to hit the link. I told you to hit the link. We don't care nothing about what you talking about. I told you to hit the link. I know he over here learning, Lucky. We all know that he over here learning. Cause them Negroes ain't learning nothing over there. They just stuck in their little, they just stuck over there in their little ways. They don't come outside. I told you they don't come outside. They don't never deal with no information. They don't know shit. And I was just kicking the signs. On some real stuff. Yeah, he can't talk no more. I mean, he can type all he wants to. We ain't gonna be able to see it. I ain't finna keep going. You know what I'm saying? I want the evidence. If I got a problem with you, bro, I have no problem correcting you. If you wrong on some shit. You wrong on some shit, I'm gonna correct you. I don't care who you are. I don't care what side of the argument you on. What's up, man?
What's up with you? What's up with you?
Big Guzman in the building, man. Banging on the elbows.
Hey, did you get to check out that debate?
Nah, bro. I told you send me the link.
I sent it to you.
Is it my email?
No, I texted it to you.
Nah, if you text me in the last 40, I ain't get it.
All right, I have to send it again. But yeah, man, hey, it's funny you went on this.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? So
You got a new one?
yeah, a new phone. So
Yeah, I'll send it again. Ain't no pressure. But I see you going in on the sickle cell. You know some of the elbows, they say the sickle cell is proof that they aboriginal because it started in the mines.
yeah, they are proved wrong. Yeah, they just been proved wrong. So
Yeah, I came in at about the 45-minute mark. I'll probably go back to the beginning, but yeah, man, it's crazy. It's a big talking point from them. From like, I want to say it's true. I think Truth be saying that shit.
Oh, Truth. He the originator of the stupidity.
I don't know if he the originator, but I know he be saying that shit.
That's crazy. With no evidence.
Nah, I don't think I've seen some evidence to date. You know, with aboriginals, man, all they need is a couple syllable word. They got multi-syllable words, and you know they could talk around some shit, man. They're not really saying anything. So yeah, he said it like 3 or 4 times on the panel, but he never really said anything. You know, he just made the claim, provided no evidence, and then you know, act like he laid it down and said he wanted debate on the DNA. He talking about he want to do DNA evolution. He's supposed to be the science guy, so that's why I'm.
Niggas crazy.
Yeah, but they acting like they gonna roll over more facts too. They got a debate on the 7th.
Nah, that nigga Mo Facts gonna surprise the shit out of their ass.
That's what I told him too. He thinking they gonna just smoke them. I'm like, bro, it's not like that. You know, they coming from TikTok, but it ain't like that.
Nah, at all. At all. Shit crazy. Yeah, what you got going on though, man? I seen that made you get in the booth.
Yeah, nah, it was I was watching the YK video. And YK had some bars for the elbow, so I was like, man, let me go ahead and jump in real quick.
Yeah, YK he do be going in there, man.
Yeah, shout out to YK. That shit had me rolling, man. So I had to drop something real quick. But
yeah,
what's crazy, man? These elbows, they really about to let these bones. I think they gonna let them go. They ain't gonna have nothing else.
Them bones, they lose. They lose, bro. They have no argument when it comes to listen. In order to sustain your argument, you need evidence. When the bodies come out, the bullshit over, bro. It ain't no more playing with paperwork and writings and trying to manipulate that shit no more. Nah. What them bones say? They getting real close to having have to accept DNA because they're extracting DNA from these bones.
Yeah, it's getting. That's what I'm saying. They was arguing on Sister Betty channel while we was live over there on Not a Coincidence the other day for like 5 hours about the bones, and they was like him. It was like I'm getting a playback because you can't see the video. They had to took it down. I guess that's some copyright stuff. But they said it was Root Words, AP, Chief Holiday, and Cosmo up there arguing about the bones, and he was like, you gotta throw the lookership away because that craniology shit gonna get you caught up. And Chief was like, nah, fuck that, we gonna keep the lookership. and we're gonna throw out the DNA. And I'm like, bro, these guys, they ain't gonna make it.
Do that. When it comes to evidence, you cannot exclude the data that was used to determine the conclusion. These fools, I told y'all, I said, when we start bringing them bodies out, it's a wrap. We can go get bodies, bro. Now tell me where they got bodies at. Where they bodies at?
Damn.
Where your bodies, man?
They've been saying for years they was in the mounds.
Come on, man.
Hey, yo, after another coincidence smoke this nigga on the white slave shit, they ain't gonna have nothing else. No bones and no white slaves. What you got?
Shit.
They have to go the Black European route.
Yeah, they might go back to that. But they avoiding the fuck out of what we talking about. And for any of them fools to be claiming the sickle cell shit, how, nigga? How? Why that shit ain't prevalent? Why that shit ain't prevalent among all the natives that's indigenous to the Americas? That shit should be outrageously, especially in those equatorial regions. Why is it not that way? Just that shit got brought here.
You see Buddy in the chat, right? He talking ancient Mayan.
I kicked him out. He's still in there. He talking to himself. Oh yeah, I kicked him out. Left his comments.
Oh, yeah, that ancient Mayan talk. That's what they say. And then look, so from what you just said, they say shit like, well, if you test the black people in that region, they gonna have sickle cell. That's showing you them the real Mayans down there. That's how they do it, you know.
Yeah. This nigga's tripping, bro. I gotta handle some business, man. But they tripping all the way. Look, you going? Not a coincidence going live.
I have no idea. He might be. He got his debate coming up, so he might be promoting.
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I gotta call these people in California before they get out of their building. Trying to get these registrations for these dogs taken care of.
All right, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna send you that debate.
Yeah, send me that so I can go through there and see what I need to extract. All right.
All right, family.
All right, peace out, bro. Hey, that's a wrap, y'all.
Hello, you've reached American Blue.
Sutek tried to line it up, and he was like, I don't debate y'all. Y'all too disrespectful. Aboriginal Power won't even debate Sean because he's too disrespectful.
He is, though. No, he really is, though. I can't really, like you, bro, you cool. Not a coincidence. I actually chop it up with but niggas that come off too heated and disrespectful, like I said, I'll debate you, bro, but we got to get in the ring first. If you're going to be disrespectful like that, at least disrespect me in the ring, bro. Let's talk now, bro. Can you disrespect me in a cage, bro? Like, I'd rather just do that. Then we go straight from the cage. I mean, put your ice on the way to the motherfucking computer, and we'll debate directly after that, nigga. Shit.
That's why I don't need these. Fucking with the nigga and shit. You feel me? Like, it's like, wait, bro, talk like, hey, man. We gotta get face to face with you to talk to you like that, my nigga.
Yeah, Peanut. You feel me? Go ahead, I got my brother already. Peanut, what's the word, brother? What's the champ?
Yeah, I appreciate you, man, but Lucky, let me say this, man. First of all, I'm an older brother. I'm young in spirit because I stay in shape. But I'm older. I deserve respect. Don't lie on me. You're not going to get nowhere lying because that's what's going to make you fall face first. Second of all, I'm well known in the Pan-African community. I'm not nobody new. You're younger than me. You don't know this. I didn't put in work and expose Rob Bourne, Sutek, any of them people over there. They know it deep down inside. And I'm gonna be long-winded. I'm a Moorish American. I already had back and forth with them dudes. They erased videos. I'm not running from anybody. Don't ever say that stupid shit again. Third, and last but not least, I'm not losing no debate to no Pan-African, so don't ever say that shit again, famo. And that's it. Appreciate y'all, man.
You heard that? If Sean P want to debate, tell him to debate the champ over here, right?
Sutek want to debate. So this like it's a pecking order. It's a pecking. So Sean want you, and Sutek want him. You say PMO ain't
It's no problem. It's no problem, man. Let's set up a Sutek debate, man. I don't like him anyway.
Okay, so I love that one, brother. I love that warrior mentality.
Let's have one. I love to tell Sutek, tell me. There ain't nothing. My champ always in the chat. Album pop in, we'll set a topic, we'll set a date, we'll make it pay-per-view. We'll chop it up behind the scenes, I get their contact, we'll make it work. You heard it right here. He ain't ducking no favors, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. He put this over here on y'all channel, but then when we get on other
hey, alright, I will block your ass, nigga, because I'm well known for disrupting them chats over there, nigga. Stop fucking lying, nigga. You a goofy, nigga. I would never let a lame ass nigga around me in my face, clown.
You gonna block me?
It ain't no time I ain't ever been on the Pan-African channel and made my impact. Stop lying. I'm a real man, bro. Stop lying, fam. Don't do PNF like that.
PNF, he trying to trigger you, brother.
The fuck up.
So listen, he did that to me, talking about, oh, word on the street, I'm ducking from John P. I've never even had but one conversation with this little disrespectful motherfucker.
Oh, okay, yeah, he a little right. He like,
he like